To those of you joining us today, thank you for watching the Woburn Spotlight. I'm your host, Tyler Gates, here to bring you some positivity by talking to those in town making big strides for the greater good. Today I'm very fortunate to have with me Shane Thomas from the Gables at Winchester. Shane, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So we have a great little segment here today. We're going to be talking about really the partnership that you guys have with the Senior Living Center here, or the Woburn Senior Center here. But before we do that, do you mind just elaborating a little bit about you? You're relatively new to that side of town, and I'd like to hear more about you.
Yeah, I've been with the Gables for about a year now, but I have worked in the industry for about 6 years now. This was a transfer of another chapter in life, meaning that I was doing something very different prior, more software, even computer animation. But coming back, I was in California for about 10 years. Coming back here, similar jobs weren't here. So, and it was also one of those things where I'm not driven by the latest and greatest technologies. I'm more of a people person, helping people. So I was talking more with a really good friend of mine in the industry, and she's like, you know what, I think you would be fantastic as a sales and marketing director. So she really, walked me up the steps. I got in from the ground up, and love it ever since. It's really, it sings to my heart more than helping someone in a day than the latest and greatest technology. So that's kind of what brought me into it.
From what I've got to know about you, it just screams people person. So
thank you.
It sounds like it's a great fit so far, and everything's going well for you in the new role, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yes,
good.
It has good and bad, but at the end of the day, when you get that phone call and you've helped someone or almost saved someone's life, really, that's everything.
Powerful.
It's the way it is. Yep.
So now on the relationship side, not the technology side, just tell us a little bit about the choice that you made with Gables. It's a wonderful facility down there, and I know that we have a lot of, not just you, but a lot of great team members that are making it all happen.
Absolutely. I have the benefit, we're working with Charlene, who is my now executive director, but I have worked with her in the past. So she knew how I worked, I knew how she worked, so that really helped bring me into the Gables. Also the notion, there are a lot of, of course, competition out there, a lot of things popping up, and I just wanted to be part of that. And the company is about 280, nationwide, so it's not the biggest, but it's also not the smallest. So it really is that Goldilocks middle. And also, we are the one property that's up in Massachusetts, but the headquarters is in Newton. So I've met the vice president of sales and marketing and the owner. Our sales and marketing VP, he brought our residents out to lunch. You know what I mean? How many bigwigs might do that? Yeah. So it was really about that and their mission of just health and quality of life, but remaining independent as long as you can, but having those things in place for them. So
I think you guys have so many great resources, and from what I've seen and what I've heard, that's why we wanted to get you kind of on this show, because although you're just over the border down Cambridge Road, you do a lot here. You do a lot here. You've done a lot here in the past. Don't see that slowing down anytime soon in the future. Tell us about some of those things that you've done in the past in Winchester, Woburn, maybe the surrounding towns that people might not be aware of. Yeah,
a lot of times that I do, like especially with Woburn and the other councils on aging bordering Winchester, we do sponsor. They need help. They're not as funded, say. So we like to be hands-on, almost ground level as well, to be with the communities at large to help them and to expose so they can have their pizza for their pizza movie night, and to be that for them. But also at the same time, there are many times I might go there and just kind of sit for a little while and answer questions for people.
Be a resource.
Be a resource. That's what it's about. If if the Gables not the right fit, there's another one out there. I want to be that resource for people, and that's what I do.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, good. And you mind just elaborating a little bit on the mission and some of the values that you guys hold near and dear to your hearts?
Yeah, especially with this team, is that we are very hands-on. Again, I'm going back to my executive director, where she grew up in the industry, was a CNA. So if there is a caretaker that calls in sick, she puts on her sneakers and helps out. You know what I mean? Like, that's how hands-on we are, you know, and we care, and I get very involved with my families. And that's, and they trust me in that way, you know? So that's part of the relationship. The mission is always to, you know, it's health and wellness, it's hospitality, it's customer service always. But we work for the residents. We work for them, you know?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And you guys have a number of activities and daily events, weekly events.
Our
you walk in and I think there's a program board, if I'm not mistaken, and it's full.
Yes,
absolutely full, start to finish.
Yes. Absolutely one thing I'm very proud of and impressed by with the Gables, because I have worked in other communities and I was very impressed by, they have things going on at 7:30 at night, which a lot of times they don't, whether it be playing Jeopardy or a movie. It's still something that is put together for our residents. And our outings are just amazing. We go to local museums, into Boston, so Thursdays are a big excursion days of culture. And I love that for folks that are, say, coming back home from Florida after so many years down in Florida, coming back this way, to enjoy the culture that is here in, you know, Boston and all of that. We do some fantastic outings going into Salem, Boston, etc. So.
I know I was speaking with one of your residents on my tour.
Yes,
and, her name escapes me. Ruth?
Ruth.
Okay. Ruth. She
we
was
got like 10 Ruths.
She was a peach. But she had a blast because she had just come back from, I believe it was the river tour.
Yes.
Is that the one? It's been a while.
Yes.
My memory might escape me, but that was, she was talking about how much history was there and how much fun that they had.
Yeah.
But stuff like that.
And going even like to Fenway, touring Fenway. I was like, I want to go on that trip.
Yeah, I'll volunteer next time you guys go. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, we'll squeeze you on the bus.
All right, that's fine, yeah. I'll try myself if I have to.
Exactly. Okay. Sometimes like, I want to go.
Wow.
So they really do a lot. And again, this is 7 days a week. Even churchgoers, we do have the van that does bring folks to our local churches. Exceptional. So, yeah.
Wow. So what are some of the daily stuff? What are the daily activities? We're going to be jumping in here in just a second to kind of talk about the impact that you guys make in this community and the partnership that you have. But just, I think that it's so amazing that you have so many amenities, so many activities. Just elaborate a little bit about some of those great things.
Entertainment is a big one that we do have. We have live entertainment at least 3 times a week.
Really?
On weekends. Part of the open houses that I do have revolve around that because, you know, come on in, enjoy, see the community in a nice casual way and enjoy some music, have some refreshments. It's a nice casual way to be in the community and just feel it, you know, and with the entertainment. So there's always entertainment at 3 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays, and then another time during the week. But entertainment, it's music.
Okay.
Music. Never goes away. Never goes away, and it always sings to everyone's hearts, and they enjoy it. Whether it's a jazz player or a pianist, a singer. So there's again quite the rotation of entertainers in a month. Yeah. So
we have an event coming up in the Woburn Senior Center. That's the big one that you guys are a part of.
Yes, we're helping sponsor them. Just going over, you know, being part of them, just being exposed a little bit, but also contributing as a vendor there. And again, just how we collaborate with the neighbors. And that should be, my understanding, that is a yearly event that they do have. So that's September 15th, Fall Festival at the Woburn Council on Aging.
So it's a big event. It's a pretty big event, and it's, I believe, open to the public at that point.
Yes.
So come on down, say hi at the very least, and kind of get a feel for the community and hear a little bit more about the Gables and the other great people that are there to support the senior center as well.
Absolutely, and anything they need to know. Like, I'm not going to try to recruit you to the Gables at every minute. I want you to know what's out there.
It's
There's a right fit for everyone. So.
It's finding that right fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you find that right fit, it makes that community that much better for the next person.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's too many options now, and we're more educated in even Googling. You know what I mean? Just using the Google. So, you know, I want to lead people in the right direction.
Be that resource for them. So you guys have done that in the past. You see yourselves doing that in the future. What other community events or events have you had or see yourselves being a part of?
Yeah, this summer, well, we had a nice concert series, which was really great, June, July, and August. And that was a well-attended event. You know, our residents love it, of course. We were able to have it outside for one of them when it wasn't so hot. But, but we had Dan Clark. He's the singing trooper. He was a big event and is somewhat well known. He does a lot of larger events, football games, things like that, of singing. So he travels around. So we were able to get him. He was a big draw. You know, we're always doing, for professionals, for potential prospects, there's always something going on every month. For, you know, of course, we're getting into the holidays now, a little more holiday themes. You know, but we also do things like bringing pies out during the week of Thanksgiving to our local councils and resources, et cetera, just to say thank you.
That's a nice thank you.
You know, just to say thank you for working with us and, you know, being a part of. So, yeah.
Oh, good. Nice. And so, for the Woburn community or people that are watching this and kind of interested in potentially an assisted living or an independent living facility, what kind of suggestions would you give to those people? What kind of questions should they be asking of the facility, of the directors, or even of the staff as they're kind of going around and getting a feel for, is this the right place for me to spend the next 6 months, year, or a couple of years?
Absolutely visit your communities.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got to try it on, as I like to say. You know, you got to feel it. Like, I can talk up and down about what we can provide for you, but you need to come in and feel it, see who's around, see what's going on, and try the food. You know, things like, if that's the important thing to you.
Right.
Everyone's going to have that important thing. If it's care, then I want you to meet my director of nursing. You know, I always want to talk and get fine-tuned what's most important. So come in with that information. Always view the communities. Ask about, say, their executive director and him or her philosophy.
Okay.
How they are. Are they hands-on? Are they standoffish? Even how are they with the state? You know what I mean? Like, we get states and it's always on the executive, you know? Your nurse team, what is her background a little bit? Say you're speaking of someone that might have some dementia going on. Well, let me have you talk to my nurse. She actually, before coming to the Gables, she was, you know, working in a dementia ward. You know, things like that. So the history of some of the higher ups that are the caretakers that are going to be taking care of your loved one are some of the big questions. And
kind of a follow-up to that as well. As an educational opportunity, and for myself as well, there's a big difference between assisted living and essentially like the independent living, and or kind of the sectors that you have.
Yep.
Am I on the right track or something?
You
or do you see where I'm going? Do you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Yes, our property is independent and assisted living. A lot of times, you know, it's independent assisted and memory care, or just assisted and memory care. So we could really get into deep with this, but in my particular model is that of a community is that we are independent assisted. So, and we are a rental. We are not a buy-in. These are also some questions to ask.
Okay, so this is a learning process for me. So
exactly.
Imagine I had somebody that I knew that I wanted to get the right questions asked. This is important. So there's rental options, there's buy-in options.
Correct.
There's assisted living, there's independent living. There's potentially memory care
and
units.
there's memory care, not in my community, but there is.
So you have independent and assisted here.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I need to be very clear that we really want a memory care. It is just unfortunate that it is so prevalent.
Okay.
And a lot of communities that are coming up are strictly memory care, or they're not building an assisted. It's horrible of a disease.
It needs its own almost facility and
yeah, it's a different focus let's say, because it's a little more group activities little more close knit,
Okay.
where assisted is you're kind of really able to do what you wish. You know, you can go out, you know, whenever you want,
Right.
things like that. Independent, again, I'm going to speak of the Gables right now.
Please.
Yes. Independent assisted, our entire property is licensed for assisted living,
Okay.
meaning that, say, a person comes in completely independent, does not have any care plan, does not have any help with medications, that's an independent person. All right. Say that day comes a year into living with us, and they do need some help. The care plan would be discussed, and that would be that they would be able to come to the apartment. They wouldn't have to move apartments. Sometimes.
So that's why you say the whole facility.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I see why you say that now.
Yes, and it's really ideal for couples as well, because one person might need a lot more help than the other one. So having them in the same room and not have to be separated. So that's a great feature.
That's a great
You
feature.
know, that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with assisted living, do you mind just elaborating on what some of those features or those additional benefits may be?
Assisted living really is help with your activities of daily living.
Okay.
Okay. That could mean for folks even a standby assist for a shower. Say if someone feels a little, you know, balance becomes a great issue when you're older. So the biggest point of contention is really lifting your legs over a tub for some folks. Stairs and tubs are like big things
That's scary.
that are difficult, and that's where a lot of the accidents happen.
Yeah.
So most assisted living has some sort of way to be able to walk in to the tub or the shower. So it could be something where we're just standing there and making sure that the individual gets in safely and gets out safely. Or it could be a full body wash. You know, so those are determined when the resident care director does the initial assessment.
And I'm sure they can evolve.
It can evolve. We really hope, because, and especially our mission, is to keep them as independent as possible. So it always kills me when people come in and say, I'm going to lose my independence. I feel like you're going to gain more, because some of these things that are burdening you and taking a lot of your energy and time, like say someone might have trouble with their shoulder and have trouble getting dressed. They're exhausted after they get dressed or take a shower. That could be taken off your hands with a quick help, and then you're off playing Pacino. Exactly.
Whatever it may be. Okay.
You know, so that's one example. And then there's help with medications. If someone needs help just with those reminders and proper dosage and things like that, we can help with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sounds like you guys have many factors that kind of differentiate you, but I want to make sure not to miss anything. If someone was to come in, and I think the end-all be-all question is what makes you different, right? That's just what's on top of mind no matter what the industry is. But what is it that makes you different? I know you've highlighted it, but do you mind elaborating just briefly?
We stand in, which was another great notion of coming into the 5-star company and the Gables, is that the reputation is fantastic. It stands on great reputation. A lot of times you going into another community, you might have to overcome an obstacle to really be like, yes, this is great, you know. But we stand on great reputation first and foremost.
So there's a lot of things that make you different, but do you mind just elaborating briefly on what kind of separates you from the pack?
Yeah, we've got a great standing relationship with the state, also great reputation coming into that. A lot of times, you know, things happen, and then it gets, you know, blasted on television or something. So those are obstacles that sometimes can be overcome on some companies or properties. Where, you know, the Gables really just has coming into this, everyone's like, oh, the Gables, you know, it really just has a great reputation following them. And then the people at the helm, we have like a business office manager and a maintenance director that have been there 25 years out of a building that's been 26. They're the ground level, you know. And then my executive director, again, very hands-on, like I was describing before, great with the state. And again, no nonsense, but fair. But fair. Every circumstance, of course, is different. And then our resident care director, who oversees all of the care of our residents, she's, again, she wants to keep people independent as long as possible. So even, you know, coming out of, say, a rehab, where a lot of times people don't take their own medications, but they were doing that before that rehab stay. We want to do our best to get them back to doing their own medications, say, as an example.
Yeah.
You know, so they have that independence, and that's our goal. Safety also first, you know, but to make sure that they're independent.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys have a rehab facility on site.
We do, actually. Thank you for saying that. We do have a rehabilitation, physical therapy, occupational, and speech. And our director of that department is also dementia certified. So while people are getting, you know, some OT, she could work on some cognitive, you know, which is great because it is outpatient. And it is handy even for our residents that are coming in for the first time. Say that doctor could write a prescription for an occupational evaluation of their apartment. They could come in from day one and evaluate the space to make sure that the resident is set up for success right from day one.
Yeah.
And then those also that need a little more, say after a rehab stay, going into different Medicare B, continue with strengthening and that. So, and again, it's right in-house.
Yeah.
Even folks that are outpatient but wanted a little more of an intimate setting can come from the outside and use our facilities.
That's nice.
So it's nice, yeah.
And the one thing that personally like jumped off the page at me was your dining facility.
Yep.
You guys have a great dining room option. And is it all day?
It is all day dining. Yes, we do. We do all day dining.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Not everyone's hungry at noon.
That's what I think that's what was really like stuck, that it was all day and it was such a great like environment.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's you know, restaurant style, what would you like to eat and drink, soup of the day is, and then we go to, it's open seating as well. So you really can sit wherever you would like. And again, you know, the meals, if anything, if someone's not social, those are the 3 times of a day that of your socialization, 3 meals.
Okay, and so let's just say somebody's curious, they've talked with you, they like you. What's kind of the package deal? I know that you guys have a few apartment selections. I've seen a couple of them. I don't know enough about it to just talk about it. That's why you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind just elaborating briefly on what people could expect, and it's a rental situation.
It is a rental situation, yes. We're not a buy-in. Often CCRCs are buy-ins, and we're more of a rental property. Some people like that, because with the CCRCs, continuing care resident community. Sorry, it's like, right? Yeah, it does. I always have to let it roll off my tongue. We have some of the largest apartments around, which a lot of times people are really looking for, and full-size kitchens. You're actually able to walk into a kitchen. Granite countertops, you know, it's the nines, you know. And what I find is a lot of people enjoy that, especially folks that are coming out of their homes of 50, 60 years. Even if they're only living in 2 rooms at their home, having like a real kitchen is just, in the space is emotionally, and you know,
makes it more of a home.
Makes it more of a home to them, and make it not so, oh my God, I'm downsizing so much. So that is a highlight of our apartments. I mean, our, what we call an alcove starts at 644 square foot. I've lived in less, you know what I mean? And then we go up to 2-bedroom, 1.5 baths, which is nice for a lot of our couples, which we have a lot of couples because of that.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, availability.
Yeah. Availability. I do have availability.
Okay.
We do our best to keep a furnished apartment, which is what we call a respite, short-term stay.
Okay.
We do ask for 30 days. And coming on the winter, I hate to even say it, you know, but we are coming on the winter. So if anyone wanted, you know, not a long time commitment, but to get through that winter, 2-3 months in a community lifestyle, just saves the family so much worry, you know, and just gets it off. Like, what if we had a winter like we did a couple years ago? Slammed. I worry about my seniors, even though it's like, okay, I'm okay, but, or they get home health, which has their place. But what if that caretaker can't get to you when it's 12 inches or whatever, you know?
Being in New England, it's not uncommon.
Exactly.
It's the reality of being where we are.
So I suggest, staying with us. We furnish, you got your Comcast, and then you really get your meals, and you just get to watch the snow and enjoy all the amenities. Like, I like to say it's like a combination, like a senior center and a cruise ship. Because there's always things going on. Okay. There's always food, things like that.
You put it that way.
Doesn't it sound great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So yes, availability, and I have varying sizes of 1-bedrooms, and then the alcove 1-bedrooms, and then the 2.
So if somebody wants to meet you, Shane, they can come down on Friday to the senior center and actually come by and get to meet you.
Absolutely, on the 15th of September,
Would there be a good number to reach the facility at, an email that we could throw up on the TV here for the people watching that? If they want more information, they can reach out.
Exactly, if you just needed questions, you know what I mean? I'm there for you. We are at 299 Cambridge Street in Winchester, which is really nice because it is right off of a main drag and really off the highway, which is nice for folks visiting. And it's 781-756-1026. And my name is Shane. Yep.
All right. Well, good. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing all that you did.
Thank you for having me.
Anything that you'd like to share in closing about the community or anything that we've talked over today?
Yeah. Again, our apartments are exceptional. Our care is exceptional. Even if you haven't been in a property, I would love to be a part of that experience for you. Again, it's every community fits a different person.
Yeah.
And it's a process. We know that it's a process. So I'd love to be there to help you. And again, think about that winter short-term stay. Bring your toothbrush and you're in. No, if only it was that easy. Yeah. But really, you would just need to really pack a bag and enjoy your time at the community.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tyler.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
And to those of you watching today's show with Shane Thomas, thank you for joining us. And remember, we all have one life to live. Let's all try to do our part. I'm your host, Tyler Gates. Join us again next time for another episode of the Woburn Spotlight.